The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Welcome everyone to episode 161 of The Daily Mother Swole. It is Flex Friday, and the theme for today is something that everyone should be able to do, not just from a survival point of view, but from a physical human being point of view, how to do your first real push-up. Now this is applicable not just to people that cannot do a real push-up, and by that I mean from your toes all the way down, all the way up. I'm also talking about people that want to increase or improve the amount or the overload, the resistance of push-ups that they already can do. So this is for anyone who cannot do a push-up. Oh, Mr. Esposito on Facebook Live. What the hell is the occasion? And those that want to do a push-up and those that have already been able to do push-ups for years and they want to improve. So the secret to doing push-ups is similar to the secret to doing pull-ups. And that is going to be focusing on the eccentric contraction. Now, there's going to be a lot of you that are in between that can do push-ups, from the knees. You're able to go down and up. You can kind of go halfway down from your toes, but you're not able to do a full-blown all the way down, let's say chest to the ground, or pretty much, to like a golf ball height off the ground and all the way up. So most of you are going to be in between. In my opinion, most people can kind of do a push-up. You can go down and up, but it's either from the knees or partial for a full. Now, if you've ever done any home workout programs, or you've heard me talk before, it's generally better to do a partial real push-up, like from your toes and go part of the way down and back up, than doing a full range for the chest from the knees, just because you get more core activation. It's a little bit more functional, it's a little bit more realistic, and there's still more overload on the bone structure and on the stabilizer muscles if you do it from your toes. However, full range of motion is really important. If you're trying to work your chest, you need to work the full range of your chest. So how are we going to do this? You need to focus on the eccentric contraction. You need to focus on when the muscle is lengthening and putting stress on the muscle when the muscle is lengthening, which is on the way down. What's up, Taylor on Busker? How you doing, bro? So on the way down. So here's what I want you to do. This is for anyone that can do push-ups already. This is for anyone that is like in between, and this is especially for people that cannot do a push-up. Let's say you can only do it from your knees, and let's say you're only partial. Let's say you can only go about a couple inches down from your toes. You can't go all the way down to the ground. What I want you to do is go from the top position. Let's say you start at the top and you're on your toes. You can hold. Most people, even if you can't do a full push-up, you can hold at a top push-up position. You keep your stomach engaged, keep your stomach sucked in, squeeze your butt cheeks, squeeze your glutes. That neutralize the spine, so you're activating the muscles in the core, on the base of the pelvis and the spine. Then what I want you to do is I want you to lower down to the ground as slow as you can. Now, here's the thing. Most of you, if you cannot do a push-up, you'll be fine for the first quarter or the first half, and then once you get halfway through, you'll either flop quickly to the ground or you'll feel really uncomfortable and really nervous. You're going to break your face and you'll drop your knees. I want you to go all the way down, chest to the ground. If you're absolutely unable with strength, you're unable to lower yourself. Now, I'm not talking about pushing back up, I'm just about the lowering portion all the way down. I want you to put a pillow, and I want you to put a pillow or pillows at a height that is where, let's say, your muscles give out. Let's say you really give out, because I don't want you to break your face, and you don't want to change your form because you're afraid of hitting your face on the ground. You're going to put a couple pillows right there under your chest. You're going to lower all the way down really slow until you touch those pillows or the floor. Then you're going to drop your knees, push your body back up to the starting position with your knees and everything off the ground from a real push-up position, toes and hands only, and then lower slowly all the way down. You're going to start with about a 4 or 5 count on the way down, even speed all the way down. Then you could drop your knees, push yourself back up to the starting position, and then do the negative real push-up again from the starting position, 5 seconds. You're going to do these, let's say 5 or 10 reps for a couple sets, and as you get stronger, you're going to slowly increase the duration of that eccentric movement, that lowering movement, you're gonna do 6 seconds, 7 seconds, 8 seconds. This is how you're gonna do your push-ups from now on. You'll lower from your toes, and then you could drop your knees at the bottom and then push yourself up from your knees. The reason for this is you need to get stronger. It's simple. You need to get stronger to be able to do a full push-up. Your body is unable to push itself off the ground. You're unable to overcome your force, your body weight, your resistance. So how do you get stronger if you're not strong enough to do it? How are you able to do a push-up when you can't do a push-up? It's like you're just gonna keep on trying to do it from your knees and just hope magically you can do a push-up someday. That's not gonna work. Your body's gonna plateau and you're gonna hit that wall. So you have to overload the muscles. Now the muscles are stronger when they're lengthening. The muscles are stronger when you're lowering from a push-up position. They're stronger when you're lowering in the pull-up position, lowering down from the bar, going with gravity, resisting gravity. So you're working the same muscles, but you're working them in a stronger range of motion. So you're kind of tricking the body. You're working the same muscles, you're getting the same muscles stronger, and you're avoiding working the weaker range of motion. But the ironic part is that weaker range of motion is still part of the muscle that you're working on the way down. So you're working the same exact muscles you're going to need pushing yourself up off the ground, but you're working them in a different way. So you're kind of going like a detour. You're going around. You're working the stronger part of the way the muscle contracts rather than the weaker way the muscle contracts. And this is how you can stimulate that muscle to get stronger and get more developed in order to do a full push-up, and as I mentioned before, or do a full pull-up, which I've done a video in the past for. So first off, I want you to stay tuned because there will be some stuff on my YouTube channel. I've done a lot of exercise videos, but there's gonna be more instructional stuff coming on my YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed already, subscribe. YouTube at Swolenormous. Make sure you check that out. And I have a lot of workout videos of myself in the gym that I did live Periscope workouts. I have a couple things in the past: Sphinx push-ups, single leg squat, a bunch of videos I've already done. But there's going to be a few more instructional type videos. This is the type of stuff that's going to help you, and especially the premium members that are utilizing this information and joining me here and elsewhere to design their own program. So if you're looking to take your body to the next level and do more, let's say, body weight exercise, you're not able to get to a gym, or you're looking for things to do supersets with, which we'll talk more about as we go more into program design, being able to do a full push-up is very functional. Everyone should be able to do a pull-up, everyone should be able to do a push-up, everyone should be able to squat, you should be able to swim for X distance, you should be able to walk up a flight of stairs. There's certain things a human being should be able to do to survive. Now, I'm not saying you have to be a pro bodybuilder, pro athlete. I'm not saying you have to look like a supermodel. I'm not saying you have to, look like you're going to be on the cover of a fitness magazine. The whole point is you need to be able to survive. You need to be able to, get yourself out of a life or death situation. If you have to climb out of a car because you went into a lake and swim to the surface and swim to shore, you should be able to do that to survive, to save yourself. You don't have to be an Olympic swimmer, but you need to be able to save your own life. And that's a great quote that I heard. I forget where I picked it up. I didn't create it, but it's a great quote. You should be fit enough, you should be healthy enough, you should be fit and healthy enough to be able to save your own life. And that's a great way to think about things. If you're in a burning building, you have to climb up a rope. Can you do it to get to safety? Can you climb over the edge? Can you pull yourself up to the roof to survive? Can you swim to shore to survive? Can you carry something moderately heavy like a person, to an end point to be able to survive? So that's very important because there are life situations where you need to not just carry grocery upstairs. You might have to carry a loved one or a child or something out of a tough situation, and you might have adrenaline, but what if you really physically don't have the strength to do it? That's going to be, just think about it that way. You won't be able to live with yourself if you even survive that. So yeah, it's a great life message. It's just something to think about in terms of fitness that people don't normally comprehend. We don't normally think of being able to save our own lives, but it's something that you should be aware of. And most of you probably can do most of the things that would help you do that, but that's just something else to think about. So pushing yourself up off the ground is very important. What if you fall? What if you're 75 years old and you fall on the ground? You got to push yourself up. Most of the people watching are not 75 years old. However, you're going to be someday. So these are things you need to build now, because once you're 65, 70, it's going to be a lot harder for you to learn and do a push-up as opposed to doing it now, as opposed to learning now and gaining those strength and that neuromuscular coordination, those skills now. That way in the future you're able to apply those. So do the negative push-ups, do the negatives from the top to a bottom, lowering yourself slowly and then driving up from your knees if you need to. And as you get stronger, start progressing that duration from 5 seconds to 6 seconds to 7 seconds to 8 seconds and longer. And then as you get above 10 seconds, 11, 12, 13 seconds, you'll be able to do a push-up, I promise you. So practice those negative push-ups, the lowering portion of the push-up, drop your knees for the upward motion, and then lift your knees back off the ground and lower all the way down to the floor. If you're unable and you buckle about halfway through, put a couple pillows there as you get stronger and as you go slower. Remember, keep it slow and consistent all the way to the lowest point that you can get. Then you start removing those pillows as you get stronger and get more confident, lower like a centimeter, an inch, and get closer and closer to the ground to get that full range of motion for the chest. And you will be on your way to doing a full-blown, real human being push-up. Does this exercise have more benefits than low weight benching or dumbbell presses? Yeah, it's completely different. If you're doing push-ups as opposed to, let's say, higher rep bench pressing, when you're doing bench pressing or when you're doing any kind of dumbbell or resistance, for example, let's say you're on the floor or on a bench, you are not activating your stabilizers in that sense. So one of the reasons why push-ups are so hard, but you could turn over on your back and grab like 25 pounds and rep it out, is because the neuromuscular coordination, keeping all your core muscles engaged, keeping your back straight. Not only are you keeping everything in alignment up top, it's like riding a bicycle. You have to keep your stomach pulled in, your glutes tight, your back flat. Everything has to be kind of taut and fired when you're doing a push-up. So there's a coordination aspect and also the body weight. There is resistance. So you might not be lifting your arms in this sense, but all your torso and the torque, of course, there's angular force because you're not literally going straight up and down, but you're lifting your own body weight, plus you're engaging a lot more musculature. So that's why, for example, and it's a great question, bro. That's why yoga is so challenging for most people. That's why, and it's embarrassing when you go sometimes because you see like this little like 7-year-old lady and she's doing all these poses and you're there like sweating bricks, like, oh my God, what the, why do I feel you're sweating? You're just, because it's a coordination. It's not that it takes a lot of strength per se for you to, it's a different type of strength. Like you're holding in a position, it's just awkward. You're synergistically firing muscles in different ways. That's stressful for the body. So there's different types of stress. Obviously there's mental stress, there's physical stress, there's the emotional stress. There's different ways that you could burn out. Like I said, I've been talking about burnout and taking time off from the gym. For me, emotional burnout, like mental burnout from the gym, is more so than physical. Like if I have injuries or tweaks or things, I always work around it. Things happen. But for me, the mental is where I can't get around. If I don't feel like working out, I can't. That's a brick wall. So there's different types of stress, there's different types of overload, different types of burnout, different types of coordination in that sense. But when you're doing a push-up, when you're doing a body weight exercise, there's a lot more intermuscular coordination. There's intra, where you're firing, synergizing the fibers of a single muscle, and then you have the intermuscular coordination where you have different muscles working together, like kind of like different countries working together, as opposed to one country, organizing its own like government within. So it's like us being diplomatic with Europe or with Asia or things like that, as opposed to us working on like the United States infrastructure. Those of you that are watching that are in the United States. So the muscles need to synchronize fibers within the muscle, but also communicate outside, and that's where you get like the shaking, like when you're riding a bike the first time, or you're shaking, you're holding a plank and your body starts vibrating. It's because your body is trying to learn how to fire. You have over 600 muscles in the body. Your body's trying to learn how to fire maybe 350, 400 muscles all at the same time, and if it's not used to it, it's just you're shaking, it's not synchronized, you're not doing it all at the same time, so it's kind of like firing randomly, so you're shaking, you're vibrating, and you're getting tired because your body is struggling. So it's like a mental neural stress, it's an overload. But then, as you know, when you ride a bike, once you learn, you might be, oh my God, stressing, or like first time snowboarding, but then once you get it, you don't even think about it, you just automatically do it. And that's because your body just, automatically starts firing these stabilizer muscles. But that's important because those are the muscles that will prevent you from injury, like doing all those. That's why push-ups are important. Even if you do a lot of more bodybuilding type stuff, push-ups are really important because of that kind of coordination. And that's a big part of program design. When you first start training, when you first start putting overload in your body, it's always good to start with a lot of body weight exercises too, because that's enough overload, and you target those stabilizers that are so important, not just for those bodyweight exercises, but for heavier resistance as well. So, excellent question, great topic. Stay tuned for actual visual exercise descriptions, videos, some more breakdowns, some more in-depth exercise videos, and those will be on my exercise video playlist on my YouTube channel. So it might be a new playlist, it might be exercise instructionals, it might still be under the same playlist, so keep an eye out for some of those things. And also, those of you that are in Swolenormous Premium, those will probably be cross-posted into Premium and also more like broken down, and that's going to be something that everyone that follows my page and my content can benefit from once you start, we're talking about, analyzing your program, adding different exercises in, but getting a little bit more into the form and how to do these exercises, not just what to group together. And it's a work in progress. It's not so easy as just, oh, here's a bunch of papers and workouts, and here's a great exercise. It's a work in progress. There's so many different ways to do any certain exercise, and it takes time. So don't expect any instant gratification. There's a lot of content that's still to come. There's endless amounts. So if you have anything specific, any specific questions, anything you want to see on the Daily Swole, or any types of videos that you think that you would love to see, you could always request, and also put in some input if there's something, a topic that you think that might it might actually go in line with the flow of what I'm putting out. So it's something that we can focus a little bit more on. So it doesn't have to be just in the Q&A at the end of the Daily Swole. So make sure you follow me on Snapchat, Instagram. Remember, this is a triple live broadcast every day at 12 noon Eastern time on Facebook, Periscope, and Busker. So you can consume it live as you see fit. And also YouTube at Swolenormous, Daily Swole. And you can also find it on a podcast. So if you're unable to catch it live at 12, you can watch the replay on Busker, on my Facebook page, or on Periscope. You can also catch it on YouTube. And if you drive a lot, if you commute a lot, if you like to check this out at the gym, you want to listen to the podcast while you exercise, that's also awesome. You can check it out SoundCloud Swolenormous. You can check it out iTunes Daily Swole, and also on Stitcher if that suits your fancy. Thanks for joining me for episode 161 of the Daily Swole. I'll see you all tomorrow for 162. Enjoy your Flex Friday. Let me know if you have any questions, and stay tuned for some more badass-ish. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.